living la vida low carb. This show is changing lives. We talking about your diet, trying to get you feeling right. Cut up them avocados, fry some eggs, time to explore the longest running health podcast, hosted by Jimmy Moore. Time to give up the crappy garbage, we're getting into ketosis. Every day is a new step to your goal, yeah, you're getting closer. Motivated and focused, don't stop, just go. Time to get inspiration from the Living La Vida Low Carb Show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com.
So guys, that right there are my friends. That's Keith, or excuse me, that's Michelle. That's Keith. The better looking one is Michelle. Norris is their last name, and they are from the PaleoFX conference, and they're about to have their very brand new, feels like you've been gone forever, conference coming up April the 29th through May the 1st, 2022, again in Austin, Texas at the beautiful Palmer Event Center. PaleoFX.com is the website. Go check them out. I will be there as a speaker. I haven't been to your conference since 2015, so I was very honored that you guys gave me the privilege to come back. But I want to brag on you before we get into this. Guys, if you love like the KetoCon and all these other conferences that have come over the past few years, you've got these two people right here to thank, because you guys saw the big vision. You had big visions early on. We're going to make the biggest nutritional health conference in the world. And everybody's like, yeah, sure you are. And you guys not only delivered, you over-delivered. I think you even surprised your own expectations by how quickly PaleoFX became not just about paleo, but a health phenomenon. You should be very proud that you laid the template, kind of laid the groundwork for everything that's followed that has been successful as far as the conference goes in nutritional health.
Thank you very much for that.
Very much
Yeah,
appreciate you saying that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like, look, I like to pay homage to the people that do good work. And look, people have stolen my ideas from keto since I wrote this book. Nobody had a keto book, and then I come out with that book. Oh, I'm a keto expert. Let me write about it. So I get it. But I'm so glad you guys are coming back, because I know it's been frustrating the last 2 years. I interviewed the founder of KetoCon, Robin Switzer, recently, and she was talking about just the headaches of all the deposits, because people don't realize this. Conferences aren't just like a few months ahead of time and then boom, it starts. No, you're talking like a year plus before the event happens. Even before this event happens, you're probably already laying the groundwork for the next one, if there's going to be a next one. And so how has the last 2 years been on you from that standpoint? I know some other things went on. We'll talk about that in here in a minute, but how has that been?
Some things went on.
Some things definitely went on. It's been, it was very heartbreaking, because you get down to, so we were canceled on March the 9th, and which was the day after South by Southwest. We had kind of hoped we were going to escape that, but you know, the powers that be had other plans. So we got canceled, we reset dates, we got canceled again.
Yeah. We
reset dates, we got canceled again. And we reset dates, and then they moved our dates for 2022. 2021, and they moved them out to 2022. And then we kind of had to sit and wait, because the one thing that we had made the decision of was we will not hold PaleoFX if it wasn't real PaleoFX. If it was, we have to do COVID testing, we have to have vaccines, we have to have masks, we have to have 6 feet social distancing. That is not PaleoFX. That's not what our people want. That's not what we want. So we were sitting and waiting, because the city said, we don't know if you're going to have restrictions. And then we finally found out in December that they were going to do South by with no restrictions. And I was like, okay, 100,000 person event with no restrictions. I think we're clear. So
the original purpose of PaleoFX was to bring together community and to hug on people. You guys know I love hugging everybody, but like, you can't have an event like that, of that nature. You strip the soul away of PaleoFX and any conference, really, where community building is the purpose. So kudos to you guys saying, hey, wait a minute, we're not doing this unless it's normal. And you're in Texas, which has been one of the states. I know Austin's different, but one of the
Right.
statewide, that they typically have been one that really didn't shut down a whole lot, kind of like Florida. But Austin is a special little place in Texas.
It is a special little place, yes.
Indeed, it is.
And Jimmy, I would bring up too that when we got canceled in 2020, the way event production operates is you pay everything up forward. You pay for the event space, you pay for audio visual, you pay for everything up front. Then you hope to recoup on the back end.
Yes.
That's event production. That's event production in good times. It's a gamble. When we got shut down in 2020 in March, we were right at the uptick of traditionally where we begin to make our money back.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks of March, rolling into April, ticket sales go up. We start getting people in, and that's when the income starts rolling in. We were cut at the worst financially, at the worst possible. Everything everything went out. Nada came in. So we were reeling.
Well, our typically and historically top 4 months of the entire year are March, April, May, and June.
Right.
So March is the highest. April is second highest, May, and then June. And so we bypassed all of that. We had no income for PaleoFX from March the 9th of 2020 until the end of September of 2021.
Yeah,
so no income.
I know the KetoCon people got a lot of hell from people because they were demanding refunds, and she was trying to explain the same thing you just explained of, look, there's money's gone. It's already spent. It's already reserved. And look, Palmer Event Center, they don't like this situation either, but they got bills to pay as well. So did you guys do the same thing, that you would honor past tickets if they come next one that's open? Okay.
That's what we did.
Which, if anybody out there has, so this is another issue.
A whole other
issue.
We just found out that we've been being shadow banned by our mail server. So all of our emails have been going to spam since we've been sending out emails through the entire process through 2020 and through 2021. And we're finding out, we just recently found out that they were all going to spam. So a lot of people don't even know that we are actually happening. So they may have 2020 tickets and they may not even know that they, badges or passes, from 2020. And they may not know that we're actually happening. And so we've been trying to send out emails. We finally, when we found this out and realized that our list server was shadow banning us, we moved to a new list server. And it's funny because our open rate went from 4% in 1 week to 72%. And it was like,
we could not figure out why our open rates were
so like,
abysmal.
what's the deal? We've been emailing everybody for the whole time. So it didn't make any sense to us. And this is typically when our emails really go up, the open rate goes way, way, way up. And so we were like, what in the heck? And so our dear friend Misty Williams is the one that figured it out. When she looked at it, she was like, you're being shadow banned. You need to move your list server. And so thank you, Misty, for seeing that and giving us that insight, because we just really didn't understand and didn't know. So yeah, it was. So then on top of COVID, we get shadow banned by the list server that we're actually paying. And not only that, they charged us double. So we were like, great. So we have to go back and get our money back. So anyway, it's interesting stuff.
That is so bizarre, but not surprising. And since we're there already, since we're on shadow banning and censorship, talk about some of the personal things that have happened with you guys. I want to get to the conference. It's very interesting what you got set up. Because I love the Primal. I like, move your head just a little bit, Michelle. Let's see that. There it is. Primal Uprising in the background. You can see it back there. And yeah, it's a cool theme that you came up with, and I want to get into the nitty gritty of it in a minute. But talk about this censorship for speaking up and speaking out. Like, you're just basically saying, look, what's out there is wrong. What's happening is wrong. I'm on the same page. I use little codes. I say hokey pokey instead of and I use 9-1 Divock or pandemonium so I don't get banned here. So.
Yeah.
But what's that been like?
Well, when everything first started happening, we were having all different types of people coming on and talking about it. We were literally doing probably 3 to 5 lives every single day. And then we had an experience. And the thing is that PaleoFX has always been a conference where we do not have an echo chamber. We believe in questioning everything. Our theme in 2019 was challenge authority, defy dogma, demand different. So our ethos has never ever changed. Our ethos is now we're doubling down on it because it's like we see that we need to, not only is our food freedom been threatened for decades, but our freedom to choose our health decisions is also being threatened. And that's really important because at the end of the day, and then of course, when you think about freedom of thought, that is another thing in freedom of speech. If we're all now we have a lot of people who believe it's okay to shut down people because they don't believe in what they're saying. And I'm like, that's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom of thought. That's who we are as humans. We have this ability to be able to critically think and to be able to question. Now, we've had a lot of people where it's programmed out of them to critically think and to ask questions. And that is something that I hope to see change for people. But it's something that when we started questioning, we were like, okay, wait a minute. This conference has been talking about the fact that our government has gotten health and nutrition and everything wrong for 70 plus years, but we suddenly think that they got COVID right. Where does that even line of thinking come from? Like, of course they got this wrong. And of course they are doing stuff that's manipulative. And of course they're trying to take more of our freedom. And of course they have the wrong information.
That's what got me, Michelle and Keith, when I first started talking about some of this. They're like, stay in your lane, talk keto. And I'm sure you guys got some of that. Stay in your lane, be paleo. And it's like, no, I'm health. And this is very much in my lane of health, talking about it. And yeah, if they've lied to us about nutrition and about fat and about all the things that they've lied to us about, why all of a sudden are these exact same entities and the pharmaceutical drug companies that have made fake pills about lowering your cholesterol? Oh, well, let's lower your cholesterol. It's like, now we're supposed to believe they're ethical? Yeah, fuck off.
Exactly.
Totally. And another thing too, Jimmy, is we weren't telling people what to think. We were just saying, I think it's very healthy to question authority.
Exactly.
That's a healthy thing.
Yes.
And to just shut down and just be spoon-fed information and be okay with it, no. Hell no.
And
There's
that's
no
never
way
been
I'm gonna do
never been the ethos of PaleoFX. That's
Never.
never going to be the ethos of PaleoFX. The whole point of our panels at PaleoFX is to have dissension, because there's progress when there's dissension. When we question each other's beliefs and we question the things that are working for you and the things that are working for me, then everybody gets their information and gets educated and can make their own decisions and can critically think through the process. And the thing is for us to be told to shut up and sit down and to do, it was like ridiculous. I was like, wait a minute, this is what we do. This is what we've been doing. And this is what we're going to continue to do. And if you don't want to be part of it, I respect your model of the world. I respect what you want to believe. I respect all of that. Now respect what I want to believe and respect what I want to hear and what I want to say and how I want to question things. Totally understand if you want to sit it down and take all of that. That's your decision. I'm not telling you you have to. What I am saying is I get a chance to say, I don't believe this crap, and I think that we're all being fed a line of BS.
Yeah, and we want people, make no mistake, this show is about questioning authority. This show is not about being spoon-fed, and we are doubling down on that. And believe me, we, how can I say, cleared the decks of a lot of dead wood.
Yes.
And again, as Michelle said, we respect everybody's model of the world. We don't have to have lunch with everybody. We love everybody. Don't have to have lunch with everybody. Don't have to have you at our show. Cool. We have a different
And you don't have to have anything to do with us.
You don't have to have anything to do with us. And that's cool. We are plugging ahead with this show, questioning authority, in your face questioning authority. So.
Psst, come here. I gotta tell you about this kit. It is a hair mineral analysis kit to determine your deficiencies in key minerals. It'll also show you your toxicity with heavy metals. It'll show hormones, your immune system, your thyroid, your adrenals, and your metabolism, all in one kit. And all you gotta do is go to upgradedformulas.com, use the coupon code Jimmy, you'll get 15% off this kit.
but they have everything that you need to just basically give them a piece of your hair, and they'll show you how to do that. And then you mail it in, and they'll show you specifically where you have deficiencies. And then go to upgradedformulas.com. They have a full array of nanotechnology that will help you shore up those deficiencies in the minerals. So again, upgradedformulas.com, and check it out. Test, don't guess.
It's amazing to me. If you don't like it, just shut up and move on. Why do you have to announce to the whole world how horrible you think something is? I get it all the time in my work. You guys know I've been out here a long time. I still get it even now, 20 years, almost 20 years later doing this. Patrick had an interesting comment. Info knowledge is power. Embrace the shit out of that. So.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing too, is it just, the whole thing was somewhat shocking, is that there's all this social justice warriors and all these virtue signalers and all of this stuff, and I'm like, but what are you actually doing? What exactly is it that you're actually doing in support of whatever it is that you think that we're against and that you're for? I want to know what you're actually doing to help that cause, because you being behind a computer and throwing out all your stuff is not helping the cause that you say that you're helping, because that's not how those things work. The way things work and the way things change is actual direct dialogue. It's actually having the hard conversations and actually doing the work of actually figuring out where is it that where my thoughts and where I'm coming from, where is that breaking down and not supportive of the whole? Where is that happening? Tell me, because I'm open to it. I have no problem looking at my own shadow and looking at the things that I don't think are actually that great about myself. I have no problem doing that. Do you? That's the question. And there was silence. There was nobody willing to actually have a conversation except one person. There was only one person that was willing to have a conversation with us and did not go off half-cocked and start telling everybody. And let me say this. Not one single Black person called me and Keith racist. Not one. In fact, every single one of them said they understood Keith's post. Every single one. Every single one of them said they understood what Keith was trying to say, except for one piece. And that was, did Keith believe there was no systemic racism in the world? And it was like, okay, this is like having a question, a conversation about weather, and we all have to agree that the sky is blue and that the clouds are white. Really? Like, we're not saying that. We're saying, look at everything, because there's some stuff going on. Yeah. And if you're not paying attention, to what's happening, you're being led down a primrose path that is you're gonna wake up down the road and realize you've been had. And the thing is, Keith was questioning everything that was happening, and he was like, are we sure that everything that we have been shown on TV is true and real? Is it really? And he goes, do you think that it's a coincidence that the last 5 Black men that have been in police custody, which we found out later was 71, all of their last words were, I can't breathe. And then his point was, and now here all of us are, we're wearing masks and we can't breathe. And it's the one thing as humans we can control is our breath. Do you think that this is a coincidence? Do you think that there's not something more going on here? And that was his question.
And let me say that the one conversation we did have was, 3 hours, and it was fruitful.
Yes.
This is how relationships get healed. This is how two cultures that maybe don't understand each other fully because they can't, because they don't come from the cultures. This is how the gap is bridged, by having deep, meaningful conversation. And this individual was willing to do that.
And that's great. So, by the way, I got victimized of that on Clubhouse. I was pretty active on Clubhouse right about a year ago. And somebody found something I wrote on Facebook, one little comment on Facebook in 2020, in the height of all that discussion in our culture. And it was about, hey, work hard and you can pretty much be whatever you want to be. That was my comment. Well, apparently that's racist. You can't say those things. And I actually got kicked out of a keto group, mind you. And it's like, really? Like, we can't have conversation. And I wasn't even talking about it on Clubhouse.
It was
Right.
somebody had through back channels posted it to everybody, and they still don't let me on their page, which is fine. I got plenty to do in my work. I don't have
Right.
time anyway, but I just find it interesting the lack of kind of having a conversation. And you guys, you were leading the charge early on with PaleoFX. I remember you had the Chris Kressers and the Mark Sissons and the Rob Wolfs of the world, but you invited major vegans to come as well,
Yep.
which credit. You're like, we
Yep.
don't want an echo chamber. We want not contentiousness, but discussion, debate, so we can come to a greater learning and understanding. How
Right.
the hell are you supposed to learn, stretch your knowledge, improve your cognitive thinking skills if all you have is, yes, that's true. Yep, agree with that. Yep, yep, yep. No, that's
Jimmy,
not.
that's when Michelle and I, early on in when PaleoFX looked like it was going to be a thing, right? We got past the first year. The second year was, okay, this is a thing. Then we started looking at what has been the demise of every other organization, conference. The demise, from our opinion, is it becomes an echo chamber.
Right.
Right? There's no room for growth. It's even in strength and conditioning, I saw it. So what we said was, we will never be that. We will never be the entity that tells you what to think. We're going to bring in diverse ideas from everywhere and empower you to think. Right? If keto is right for you, freaking rock on.
Yeah.
If carnivore is right for you, freaking rock on. If psychedelics are right for you, rock on.
Yeah.
We're not telling you what to think. We're just giving you a plethora of options.
Right.
Or in my case, if ice baths of 32 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes a day are right for you. I've been doing that all
Right.
year. So.
Right. I mean, it's what. So
Yeah.
our intent is to bring you new information and diverse ideas and
New
that's
science.
New science, and that's how we live our
Yeah.
personal lives.
Yes.
We're not, and PaleoFX is a reflection of our personal lives. It's a reflection of our personal interests, which are wide and varied. That's why the conference is wide and varied.
You guys were cutting edge long before things hit the trend. I remember, and you're going to hate this name, but he was the one that brought it up. I remember when Jack Cruz brought up cold therapy.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's crazy, man. We all know he's a crazy man, but he was right at cold. He was way ahead of the curve on.
You take what is useful and discard what is not. So
Right.
he has a lot of useful information and some that's questionable.
Yes. And like the gut health stuff, you guys talked about it way early, and now everybody talks about gut health
Right.
and health and hormone regulation and all these things. And so you guys did lay the groundwork, and which is why I love what you're doing with 2022. Let's switch gears and get into this conference, because it is Primal Uprising. Tell us kind of the theme song, Michelle, of what you're trying to accomplish with this year's conference.
So Primal Uprising is, of course, our book. And it's kind of funny because the book was in process for about 5 years and nobody was interested in it. And then lo and behold,
Nobody.
the DIVOC hit and everybody was interested. We had 3 publishers bid on it. So then we got on a crash schedule to get it out for PaleoFX release and do a launch at PaleoFX last year. And of course we got canceled. So our book is the theme of the conference this year. And basically the premise of our book is that we are all in a human zoo, and it is a zoo of our own making. We are both a zookeeper and we are both zoo animals. So we have the keys to our own cell doors and we can let ourselves out. And basically the premise of the entire book is we talk about the 7 pillars of health, which is what is at you see at PaleoFX. So basically the book is a book really about what we do at PaleoFX. And so the 7 pillars of health are physical health, emotional health, mental health, relational health, spiritual health, financial health, and tribal health. And I want to be really, really super clear. We were very definitive when we made this decision as an entire team to call our group a tribe, because and this is, we had somebody that reached out to us and said this is cultural misappropriation, and I'm like, tribes of men goes back to the dawning of time. The original tribes of man is not something that belongs to any culture. It belongs to all of us, and we are all part of tribes. And so I was like, I wholeheartedly reject your projection and your perception of that. I understand and I respect. And this is not what we intended. And I showed him all the science, and I showed him all the stuff backing up that we are tribes of man and women. And so we were very, very distinct in this, and the decision as a team and I'll be going to be honest, I was the one that said I didn't like tribe, and it didn't have anything to do with cultural appropriation. It had to do with I just didn't like it. And then when I realized after the team, we brought everything in and made the decision, I was like, oh no, this is actually what we are. We are a tribe, and this is what this really truly means at the heart and soul of what we do, and building communities, because that's what tribes are, is the communities that you are part of, and you can be part of multiple tribes. And so anyway, very, very specific about what we did here. And so the book is called Primal Uprising, the PaleoFX Guide to Optimizing Your Health, Expanding Your Mind, and Reclaiming Your Freedom. And so when this is what we decided the theme for this year was, because it's super important across the board, and the expanding your mind is, in our opinion, the key to your freedom and to optimizing your health. Because if you can expand your mind and be open, and you can ask questions, and you can be a critical thinker and everything, then you are going to be free, and you are going to have optimized health, because you have all the options available to you, and you are empowered to make the decisions that resonate for you, and you aren't going to be told what to think and what to do and how to do it. You may be shown different examples and demonstrations of how to do things, but you get to choose whether or not you decide those are going to be part of your life, and those are going to be part of you reclaiming your freedom and your health and your mind.
Love it.
Well said.
Love it, love it. And
I'm a little passionate about this.
Passionate.
I don't know.
I was going to say, you need to kind of get a little more enthusiastic, Michelle. I don't think I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, I love the diversity of topics. I'm going to let you kind of talk about it. You guys asked me to do a talk. I submitted it on childhood trauma as kind of a root cause of obesity and disease that nobody talks about. You know, that's kind of a new thing that a lot of people haven't heard a lot of information on. So you're always trying to get new angles out there and various people. What are some of the other topics and people? I think people want to know who's going to be there.
Oh, well, I'm really excited. So we, of course, got some of the original cast of characters coming back: Ben Greenfield, Dr. Anna Kabecka, Dr. Tom O'Brien, Jamie Wheel. He's been a speaker for a while. Aubrey Marcus. A lot of those. We have some really cool new people coming in. We have Kashif Khan, who is the CEO of DNA Company. Yeah, Mark Sisson coming back. Yes, Mark Dama. I'm like really super excited about our lineup this year, because it's a real diversity and range of subjects and people that are going to be coming. So Theo Wilson, I'm super stoked about Theo coming. He did a TED Talk, if anyone wants to go and take a look at it, and how he infiltrated some groups that were what are they called? The alt-right.
Some alt-right groups that he infiltrated in
white supremacists.
Right. And long story short, actually had a face-to-face communication with these people. And it really, when we were talking about bridging the gaps between cultures that don't understand it, this is how it happens.
Right.
This is how there's, just short aside, when I was involved in sports and in the military, that bridge is gapped. Yeah. Those cultures come together, and in our society, that doesn't happen.
Well, and we also have a whole lot of outside forces.
Right, and there's outside forces
that are trying to actually continue to keep that gap there and keep the tension between the two sides, which there are no two sides, by the way. We are all the same.
We're all
because
in the human condition.
We're all human, and we all bleed the same. We all want some of the same things. We want to be happy. We want to be successful. We just want to live our lives. We want to have ease and freedom and what have you. Now, the thing that with Theo's conversation is he did infiltrate an alt-right white supremacist group, because he wanted to understand, how do these people think this way? What are they thinking? How do they come to this way? And what he realized was that they were being shown. If anybody has watched the documentary Social Dilemma, you will understand why we get further and further apart. It's because of the algorithms of our social media and the way that they work, and that how it shows the people more and more and more and more of what they like gravitate towards. So if they were raised in the South, if they were raised in a racist family, if they were raised with all of this stuff, this is the stuff that they're seeing on social media, and it reinforces, it's an echo chamber. It reinforces what they believe about Black people. It reinforces all of that.
Watch that documentary.
It's an amazing documentary, and it's the truth. And one thing that was really cool about what Theo said was when he got in there, he actually held compassion and understood where they were coming away with the thoughts and the ideas that they had. And then he realized when he went back to his own social media what it was showing him. And it was showing him more and more of what he believed. And he was like, it is confirmation bias. This is how it works. And when you can step outside of what you believe and go look at some of the other stuff that you don't believe in and actually be like open to everything and hear it all, then you can understand and have compassion for other people. And then he created these really cool events where they do this dialogue, and they come together in barbershops, and they come together and they start bridging the gap between the races. And he is just doing really amazing work. So I'm super excited that he's coming, and really super cool guy. And he is I'm really excited because he's going to sit on a panel, and I'm hoping that a lot of the conversation in that panel goes to this conversation, because at the end of the day, if we really want to support that we get rid of the racial divide, it's us actually sitting down and having the hard conversations, and us all facing all of the stuff within us. And that's on both sides, the racist tendencies in both sides, because we live, and this is something our friend Ta Whitty, who is also going to be a speaker at PaleoFX, has talked about, is that we all live in a system of racism. We all operate in it, whether we want to participate or not. We're living in it, and until we all address it and start having the hard conversations about all of it, we're going to continue to perpetuate the system that does not sustain the human individuals that are involved in this system.
Right, and the powers that be, there's no better way to control a population than to divide the population against itself.
Right.
Republican, Democrat, white versus black. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Divide. Makes a group.
Male versus female.
Very difficult to coalesce.
Have you guys ever heard the independent rapper Tom McDonald? So if you haven't, look him up. He's got a song called Brain.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design. They can't stop us, cause we're ready to fight. Trying to brainwash us, but we won't let freedom die. The whole world's brainwashed.
Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets.
The whole world's brainwashed.
It's us against them, and then you
Go
against.
look it up, Brainwash. I'm surprised that he would be a killer person to have at Paleo.
It would be great.
Yeah, he would.
It's been 3 years since the release of my last book, but now I have written a brand new book called One Step Deeper Journal, The Foundations, featuring my co-host of my One Step Deeper podcast, Brittany Lee Davis. And this, you guys, is going to be an incredible book for those of you who struggle with mindset, struggle with why you believe things the way you do, if you've gone through any kind of trauma in your life. We got you. It's a 40-day journal. We're going to take you through all of the different topics. Brittany and I actually give you a lot of our own personal story. There will be lots of places to do journal entries where we prod you. This is one of the proudest books I've ever written, and it's available at onestepdeeperjournal.com. Within the next few days, we're expecting it to be available on Amazon, so go check it out. One Step Deeper Journal, The Foundations.
Hey, Jimmy, I want to touch on your subject a little bit, because this is what a lot of people don't realize is Michelle and I have a personal coaching business. And the one thing that we have seen is exactly what you have said. We have worked with people who have, from the outside looking in, their diets, their lifestyle, everything is spot on, and they can't lose weight. They have a problem losing weight. Do a little bit of digging. There is a trauma, generally a childhood trauma, pretty severe, that is underlying that.
Yeah.
If we can go in and clear the emotional tie to that trauma, the weight just
it's crazy. We
it's
watch
uncanny
it all the time,
and it happens all the time. So you are certainly on the right track with this. We see this, it's common. I'll just put it that way. Unfortunately, it's very common.
And there's great research out there too. It's not just going to be conjecture and anecdotal. There's actually this study that I'm going to bring out in my talk called the ACE study. And
yes.
Specific adverse childhood events. That's what ACE stands for. That when you went through all of these ACEs, then this is the result in rise in obesity, rise in diabetes, heart disease, and it's like directly correlated. And then they don't even bring in the fact that as a coping mechanism for that, you eat a lot of crap foods. So not only do you have this trauma to deal with, then you have the ramifications of the crap foods to deal with.
Yes.
Never deal with it. You die early. Oh, well, they died of heart disease at 42, not they died because they had trauma that never got resolved. So I'm excited.
And this is one of the things we work with. So there is this big so one aspect of spiritual bypassing is to, we're all in this meat suit and it's just kind of useless, and the idea is to escape the meat suit and go on to nirvana, better worlds.
Yeah.
And for us, it's we incarnated in this dimension for a reason, and this is our vehicle to explore this dimension. In our cosmology, this vehicle is a temple. And so there's a physical aspect. Yes, your diet, your exercise, all these things, yes, have those in order. And there is a spiritual, emotional component to it as well, that many people who have rocking bodies and they're, will discard the spiritual, emotional side of it. As well, that's not important. It is. It's both. It is both coming together and getting both of them squared away. It leads to a happy human on the other side. And to your point, we use the ACE survey in our intakes because it is very telling and paints a very good tapestry of the person that we're working with.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I am thrilled that you're doing this topic at PaleoFX.
Yep.
Thrilled.
Thank you. It's my first talk in almost 3 years. None of us had been, I'm talking about in person. I've done lots of online stuff.
Yeah.
In person, there's nothing like hugging necks and seeing smiles
No.
and all things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're super excited for that. So, yes.
The keto people, Dr. Daniel Pompa, you've got Ben Azadi. I'm just kind of scrolling the people that I read from my community. And of course, all the old timers from PaleoFX, people like Tony Federico has been out there for a little while, and different ones. Aaron Alexander, he's a trip. I don't know what he's talking about. What's his talk?
And he's an Austinite now too. He's perfect
Yes,
for
is.
Austin. He's a perfect addition to our career in Austin.
I can't remember what Aaron's talking about.
It's hard to keep track of what.
But also,
doing.
Aaron's doing movement sessions as well.
Yeah.
So he, if you want to take part in some really cool movement sessions, you want to hang out with Aaron. He's such a great guy, super cool guy.
I saw him at Dave Asprey's biohacking conference last year. And we both hung out at the Morosco Forge ice bath thing. He's like, I got this. And he just like pops in. I'm like, hey, I want to get in there too. Get out.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we will have at PaleoFX too is some breath work and ice bath sessions.
I've already been in touch. Was it Warrior Women? I'm trying to remember.
Kristen Weitzel. Yes,
Kristen.
She's going to be leading that. So yes.
She said, I heard you're going to be at PaleoFX. Will you please come to our demos? I want people to see somebody that knows what they're doing getting in an ice bath. I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. She's great.
She's awesome. We're excited about having her as part of PaleoFX, and she's also an Austinite too. It's funny because a lot of our speakers are now Austinites. So
Like, look, I mean, Austin, Texas is a great place. Other than the political atmosphere there, it's a great place to live and a very vibrant place. So yeah, you guys.
And we will say, so Michelle and I were very instrumental in being somewhat of an underground railroad for people escaping California in New York coming into Austin.
Yeah.
And there was a flood of them, a flood. And we're happy to have every one of them.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So you got the Expo Pass that's out there. Do you still have the BOGO deal?
Yeah, so we were having a
extended.
3-day flash sale, and we had an issue with the website, so we decided to extend it. So yes, that is still going on.
And you got
we are, still navigating the email thing. So I don't know that our email list is up to 100% yet. You have to go through this warm-up period when you change list servers. So we're navigating that. Bad timing for all that to come down, but we're navigating it.
Yes.
Hey, weeks away, but you guys will take whoever comes last second as well.
Absolutely.
The badge, the VIP badge. VIP, guys, I'm going to sell you the VIP. It is worth. You get all these sessions, you get kind of cool things to hang out and rub elbows with the leaders and the people that are there. It's worth the price of admission to get the VIP.
I think it is too. Yeah,
Me too.
I really do.
We're a little biased, though.
We are biased, but I mean, it is a great opportunity.
It is.
I have nothing to gain to say that other than I think your conference is phenomenal, and I'm just so excited to be able to come back this year and join again. PaleoFX, for those of you that came in late, don't know what we're talking about. It is the original kind of nutritional health conference that's been out there. This is 10 years. Are you guys celebrating anything for it being the 10 years, or does it feel weird the last 2 didn't happen?
It was a little bit weird for it to not happen. So yeah, it is our 10-year anniversary. And we are doing a lot of stuff at the show. So yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're super excited about it, and I think everybody. I know that there's so many people that are like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're back! I can't wait to see all my tribe. I can't wait to see all my people." So yeah, we're excited about that.
And it's special that it's actually the official book launch for Primal Uprising, so that makes it special too.
Yes.
Since our book launch kind of fizzled in 21, so yeah.
And you're going to have book signings there as well.
We are.
My new book on like mindset and everything. Literally, I just got my proof copy. That's what this is. And I'll get copies to sign there with the book signing along with the talks. It's the whole shebang, you guys. Go there, check it out. You're going to really enjoy it. Again, Paleo on Instagram.
Awesome.
And click on that link and go get your tickets. Let these people know I'm going to be there. I would love to see all those people, be a part of the event. And you are two of the kindest, most wonderful people I've ever met in this space. People out there.
Thank you.
I don't really like that. I like real people, and you guys are as real as they come.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. We appreciate that.
Time to get inspiration from the Living La Vida Low Carb Show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com. Woo!
Have you experienced the dreaded keto flu? Did you know that most of these symptoms are actually due to your body dumping excess electrolytes? This is where Element comes in. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low carb, or paleo diet. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, with none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Everyone needs electrolytes, especially those on low-carb diets, or if you practice intermittent or extended fasting, if you're physically active, or